Good evening. I'm your defending champion of the Funky Films trivia. What are we calling it now? Or
I
is
think
it
it's
still
just movie
Funky Films?
trivia until we
Movie
name
trivia.
something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's let Aiden
Um,
name it. It's his game now.
yeah. So we'll leave that up to Aiden. Aiden, if you're out there, drop us a name.
Put it in the
Let us
comments
know.
below. Like and
Um,
subscribe.
yeah, do all those things. And then go watch the movie we're about to talk about. Minority Report. I've chosen Minority Report because I haven't seen it in a number of years, but I remembered when I was watching it, it was right at the height of the Obama administration, the second one. And so that was really funny. Um, anyways, enough about my experience with Minority Report the first time. What did you guys think about this movie? George, I'll start with you because I know Ben has a lot to for us to talk about tonight too, but I want to give George some space.
Sure. I'll go first. Um, Look, it's a very, very good movie. I enjoyed it immensely. It's a very, very strong film. Um, the partnership of Spielberg and Cruise feels like a match made in heaven for this. Spielberg with his sci-fi world building ability and Cruise as the action star. I think those two sides of a coin meet perfectly in this film. Um, we get a very, very three-dimensional, well laid out, um, and for 2002, aesthetically pleasing world for Spielberg to present to us this story. And then in uh, in Tom Cruise in Tom Cruise's lead performance, we get a character who, like a lot of Tom Cruise characters, basically every Tom Cruise character except Collateral, um, is someone who is easy to root for, someone who we want to see do well in his story.
I think you need to
And
watch more Tom Cruise movies.
I've seen a lot of Tom Cruise movies, and I'm going to see another one on Friday. Very
Yeah,
excited.
but you're watching. You got to watch more. Can't generalize him like
I
that.
will not, Ben, I will never say no to watching more films from the president of
You got to
movies.
watch like Born on the Fourth of July. You got to watch Jerry Maguire. You got to watch Magnolia.
Okay.
Just it's a lot of stuff. Oh, Vanilla Sky. That one's actually kind of weird. Maybe not great, but watch it.
Okay.
Tom Cruise has range. He was in The Mummy.
He was in The Mummy. We cannot forget about this.
Never
Yeah.
forget the MonsterVerse and how it was going to dominate the
Oh,
box
and
office.
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, can't believe I forgot that. I mean, he's got a million movies. He's Mr.
President
Movie.
of movies. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think Cruise gives us another really, really good performance. Spielberg's direction is A1 as usual. Um, Shout out Neil McDonough. Max, you and I were talking about it when I finished the movie last night. Guy with a really weird filmography, Dum Dum Dugan
Oh,
ass looking guy.
well, he kind of got like blacklisted. I don't want to say blacklisted. A lot of people wouldn't cast him after he said he wouldn't kiss a woman that wasn't his wife, which,
I heard that.
respect. That man's dedicated to his woman.
And I can appreciate that.
Also,
But
like,
yeah,
there are
good
tons
actor.
of roles that don't involve kissing anyone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that shouldn't be that much of an obstacle
Yeah, they just want the option at any moment. What
at
if I
any
want
moment
this
to kiss
person to
to
kiss?
yeah.
If it's just an absolute no-go, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I think this is a movie that's been on my watch list for a while. When you pitched it, Max, last week, ahead of this week, I was excited to finally cross it off or have a reason to cross it off. Not that I ever need a reason to watch a Tom Cruise movie or a Steven
Yeah,
Spielberg
I
movie.
still couldn't believe you hadn't seen like one of the Mission Impossible alternates.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that I'm glad I've seen, and I'll steal a Ben line here for movies that he sees for the first time. Um, it's one that I'm very excited to rewatch and pick up on all the stuff I missed. 'Cause it's a very, very
You could read the short story too. It's like it's not that long, 30 pages.
I will do some Philip Dick reading. I will do some reading of the short story to
Yeah, I mean, he writes,
contextualize.
written so many good things. A million of them have been adapted. This being one of
Man
them.
in the High Castle,
My other favorite, Blade Runner, you know.
Blade Runner. Yep.
But yeah, a lot of this stuff is like short stories. Really great writer. And yeah, there were like interesting themes here. Um, they are kind of like overshadowed, I guess, a bit by the overarching like thriller plot and action, but I feel like they're still there enough for me.
Yeah.
Um, it's a Spielberg movie, so it's not like going to be so philosophical like, you know, some directors might make it. And I think it works fine. For the big screen, I think this is a good choice.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things they kind of don't shy away from is the religious themes. They kind of hit it right on the nose, talking about how where the precogs are like housed in the water, calling it the temple or whatever.
It's just
Yeah.
a nickname.
Yeah. And calling themselves clergy instead of police officers,
You even
listening to
have Rufus like praying to them, saying, "Hey, you know, those thoughts about my cousin Elena, they're just thoughts. They're just thoughts."
yeah, and then the positioning of them in water and sort of what that implies with baptisms and
That
cleanliness, all that stuff.
that water pool looks so comfortable.
I don't know. I'd be worried about,
Burning.
yeah, yeah, very uncomfortable.
Very
Also,
unrealistic that they're not pruning.
also,
It's honestly, it's just been a while since I've been in a swimming pool.
you're also gonna be getting sedated.
What if I'm like just going in there to like hang out and chill?
You're not allowed to do that.
Well, fuck you. I don't. Fine.
To break in with a
I'll give up
ballistic.
on that dream of being in a fictional pool 23 years ago.
I'm pretty sure it's like in 30 years or
All right,
something.
fuck
It's
off.
2054,
29 years
Washington,
from
D.C.
now, I will give
yeah,
up on the dream of Christ. I guess I'll be in my late 50s.
and we'll be living in a surveillance state.
I mean, I'll
Yeah.
be in my late 20s when I'll still be in my late 20s when we're living in
One
a
of these
surveillance state.
podcasts, I'm gonna fantasize about killing George for one of his movie takes and
What?
a break in live on camera. It was just a thought though, George. I wasn't actually gonna do it.
He wasn't
Oh,
actually gonna do it.
they're not
He said
dropping in from your
as he
ceiling right
has.
now?
Oh, this was a Minority Report situation, okay?
Oh,
What did
or was
Agatha
it?
have to say about it?
She didn't think that I could actually stab someone like 500 miles away from me.
Good to know it would be a stabbing death.
Which
That
was
would be
strange for you.
painful.
What would be the best option? Drowning
I
you?
don't know.
No,
If I'm dying, I would prefer drowning, I guess.
no,
Maybe I'll
drowning is
just
terrible. Never pick
my mental
drowning.
powers.
Drowning is like the most like comfortable way to go, I've heard
That is not
from
true.
people who have drowned.
Do you want to get waterboarded, George? Have
I'll
you ever
try
heard of
anything
that?
once.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
I
then you could
wouldn't try
experience
that.
drowning without
I wouldn't
dying.
try that. I wouldn't even try like the fucking eye replacement shit in this movie.
that was very A Clockwork Orange.
It was until they took his eyes out.
Yeah, that's true. That wasn't very. Yeah, that
That
was a
was a
bit of a
little
twist.
excessive.
Yeah, that's true.
It
Imagine that was the
was very
punishment.
until it wasn't very
Yeah,
astute.
but
Also,
like
R.I.P. one of John's eyeballs because you know,
in the sewer.
it's gone.
Yeah, gone forever.
Just
Yeah,
dropped through that grate and he barely caught the other one
by the
by the nerve.
by the nerve or
The
It's
little
whatever.
such an
tiny.
Ethan Hunt move, though. Like, this man is the most exact, precise person in the world until it comes time for like, a little gag like that. And
Well,
then he's got Butterfingers.
the opening sequence involves him literally beating the countdown by 1 second.
Yeah.
It's very
which
Ethan Hunt.
is literally, I think,
It's the plot
Ghost
of Ghost
Protocol and
Protocol
Fallout.
and
Benji,
Fallout.
Benji, or no, it will be Luther. Luther, tell
Luther.
me, is the door open? Did he close the door?
Ethan, he forgot to leave the door unlocked.
I mean,
Put
I
Ving
was
Rhames
just,
in this movie. Shit.
you could
No,
easily
everyone
put
was
that
perfect.
entire squad in here, but it would probably detract from it, just being that like the serious themes would be too overshadowed. Again, there's already a lot of action that's just like, oh my God, I can turn my brain off.
And starring Rebecca Ferguson as Agatha.
Uh,
So going back to the eyes, I mean, how interesting is that, right? With the idea of the surveillance state and, the with the prison and it being kind of like a panopticon kind of a thing with everybody watching. And then, like that's what it is. Like they lose their eyes. They lose their eyes, their sight and their vision and their way sort of mobility throughout the world.
Dude, when John walked into the store to get, like, he walked into the Gap to get Agatha clothes, and the AI program recognized him by the eyes of whoever the guy was. I forget the name.
Mr. Nakamoto.
Hmm.
Sure. Um, his eyes in John's head. I was like, wow, they're not playing any games with keeping surveillance on literally everybody and knowing everything about every person.
But they also do the ads to it. It's like, oh hey, welcome back. Do you want to get these jeans again? Hey, Mr. Anderson or Anderton, come in for a Guinness.
It's
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 and
just
honestly,
it's a cache of cookies online in 2025.
It's one of Philip K. Dick's like he may not have gotten it with the eyes per se, but man, was he good at predicting this kind of like type of
Targeted ads.
advertising. Yeah, because it's just only getting worse.
Wait, you don't like targeted ads, Ben? You don't like
Oh my God.
saying something in the morning and then getting an ad for it like two
They're
hours later?
I
following
feel
me.
like that is the most, Max, I feel like that's the most podcast thing you've ever said in 180 plus episodes of the show. Tired of targeted ads. You don't like those? Well, then download,
No,
whatever.
no, targeted ads are stupid. But like, you know, at least he just wants his what is it, Neuralin, the drug that he's addicted
Ner
to? Ner
oh, Clarity, Neurotrin.
Yeah,
I think it's
whatever the drug
Neurotrin.
he's addicted to. That's all he wants.
And we got Mr. Eyeless. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. There's a lot of good side characters, like what's his name? The surgeon, the eye surgeon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
why am I forgetting his name? The actor,
I got it.
Peter Stormer. That's it. That's Peter Stormer.
Yes.
Mm.
Or how about Tim Blake Nelson as like
Oh,
the
as the guy in the chair,
guy
As
in the
the as
chair?
the organist.
the organist.
The organist. Like, see, that's crazy too. He was playing hymns.
It
And
relaxes
I
me.
honestly think the
Max
best
von Sydow. And R.I.P.
RIP, yeah. Damn.
And we got Colin Farrell in there, who's originally like an antagonist, and it turns out that he's a good guy.
True.
Yeah, I
He's
like
the
I
hardworking sort of bureaucrat.
Yeah,
I like his chemistry with Cruz. I think the two of them have a really, really strong dynamic in the first act. And then, the way that their relationship evolves as they are separate for the entire second act. Um, except for that one chase sequence where they're when Cruz is almost caught, when Anderton's almost caught. I think the way that they play off of each other is authentic to the characters and authentic to the world, and I think that makes their performances make that happen.
I agree.
Lesser actors would not have done with that what they did.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Tom Cruise has got range, man.
Yeah, he was
It's
in The
not
Mummy, I heard.
he was in The Mummy. He was.
nice.
The
Was he good in the
MonsterVerse.
Mummy? I don't know. I haven't seen that movie, so
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, okay, so I mentioned earlier at the beginning, the first time I saw this movie was during the Obama administration.
Yeah, I've been wondering about
So
that.
that was funny. But thinking
You said
about,
second term,
yeah,
so
second
you were
terms,
like
this was
high
like
school
right
age.
after, no, I wasn't, oh yeah, I was high school. I was like 13. Yeah, I was 13. So I was like freshman, sophomore year.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, anyways, Obama's second term, like this was when he ran against um
Romney.
Romney.
Mitt
And,
Romney.
all those tapes came out about Romney being out of touch with like the middle class and poor people and the 99 or like the 1% comments, like, that was all during this. And so it made me think about what it would be like, and I'm going to pose this question to both of you, what it would be like, what a surveillance state would look like, not now, but then in
Then
2030.
being like 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah. If this happened and if this movie happened in 2013, what would it look like under like a Romney?
Under a Romney situation, I don't,
What?
that's so hard to answer.
Um, I don't know. I think what
I
what
mean,
we see
considering
what
it's
we see in the
it's
movie would happen. I think it would be a lot of oversight and surveillance, perhaps to an overbearing level. I don't know if we would have the miraculous scientific achievement of the precogs and pre-crime. I don't know if surveillance would go to that extent 10 years ago with the technology we had. But I think, yeah, I think it would impact whatever, freedoms of choice and expression we had in a surveillance state. Absolutely.
So I don't think you're
North
wrong, but
Korea.
that was also a bit of a trick question because I think one of the things that I loved about this film when I first saw it, but even more so now, is that you really get to see that this isn't about the technology that makes the changes. It's not about sort of what is available, the precogs, all that stuff. It's about the people that use this power. It's about the people that abuse it. It's about the people that, don't have the guardrails or don't have the control or the guardrails around them to
Lamar.
not be in.
Max von Sydow, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're getting at? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a degree of that. I think there's also a degree of like predestination. How what you see influences your future, how if somebody tells you this is going to happen, whether you feel like you have no choice. I mean, there's a lot going on, and then you have the ultimate, victims, the precogs themselves, who are just disturbed, or not even disturbed children, just like children with, issues.
Plucked from wherever.
Yeah, without,
Experimented on,
sedated and basically,
revived, torture.
I mean, they say in the beginning it helps if you don't see them as human.
yeah.
And then how can you not by the end of the movie?
Right. But that was inevitable, I think. I mean, one of them was going to be important. if not all three of them.
So yeah, I
Especially
feel
when
like
I'm pretty sure the one who the actress who plays Agatha gets second billing in the cast. I'm pretty sure.
I
At
don't
least on
know.
Letterboxd she does. I don't remember if it happened in the
pretty
actual
sure that
movie.
would be Colin Farrell.
On Letterboxd it lists the cast as Tom Cruise, Samantha Morton, Colin
Hmm,
Farrell.
there you go.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Letterboxd isn't. I don't remember, truth be told, in the opening credits how they were listed out, but
Yeah, I've no.
Remember either.
But oh yeah, the one thing I just wanted to say is like I think even in this future society, you see how like it unravels when it becomes too much, you know, everywhere. It's like the accountability falls apart. People stop trusting the system. I mean, it very much is like it's a police state to a degree, but even they have not like transformed all the way because you got people like Colin Farrell's character who are coming to
Hmm.
bust up the system because it doesn't function. And also it puts those guys have a job, I guess.
we also have to remember that a minor, it may seem, plot point, not even plot point, minor world building uh, component of the film, if you will. That certainly has larger, thematic implications. Is the fact that the whole precog, predestined, pre-crime stuff is only in Washington D.C. Right? There's a
Hmm.
national vote happening that actually happens during the movie,
Yeah,
right
no,
towards
that's
the end.
that's what I was saying. Is like as soon as there's more, oversight, it's like it kind of falls apart because there are these minority reports.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just simply because the whole premise is based on the lie that the precogs are infallible. And like that definitely can't hold
Yeah,
if you start to expand it.
and a lie of predestination.
Yeah.
We got John Anderton rolls the ball and is like, would it fall if you didn't catch it? And it's like it's mistaking these things for exact rules when in reality they're just simplifying it to make it work.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Right, and that's the idea that John becomes disillusioned with throughout the course of the movie.
and it also speaks to a larger like justice component is like as if it jails a majority criminals or soon to be criminals, but also jails a few innocents. Is that worth the cost? And I mean, that's the opposite of justice. You cannot think like that, and by the end, it all falls apart.
So that's why you need to go to one of the VR booths and just in your own little pod kill your boss or cheat on your spouse or whatever.
Exactly. Those VR booths are the way. They are the future. They should legalize those. Why not legalize killing your boss in VR? That's
There's plenty
another
of games out there already that like mimic
kill
something
your
like that.
boss.
Like, and
Yeah. No, I mean, I would assume if when VR gets to that point, maybe there are things like that already. I don't know, but
I mean, the way that the VR
you're
is
convicted of
presented,
VR murder.
the way that the VR is presented in this movie is again a 2002 rendition. I'm sure now it would look a lot better.
well, we don't really actually see the VR as the thing. Like we're seeing their
True.
images, but technically they're seeing it like inside their own head.
Right. Now you got to put on the headset and it's a whole thing.
Mm. But it's advancing,
It is.
right? And like that's part of it, is that
Ray-Ban meta glasses.
inevitable rush to the new thing.
I actually have no idea what the Ray-Ban meta glasses do. I just keep seeing ads with Chris Evans and
Yeah.
who's the other one?
These are
Hemsworth?
not those.
Oh
These are not.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember Google Glass?
I do. You remember the Snapchat glasses that they tried to do?
True,
Yeah.
that stuff
Yeah.
was so dumb. It looked terrible. It was so ugly.
Yeah, they had a big camera. It was like that big on the side of the lens.
Now the Ray-Ban Meta glasses at least look like Ray-Bans.
Yeah, they
True.
did. Yeah.
You just got to get the camera contact lenses from Ghost Protocol that Jeremy Renner wears. Blink twice to activate the shutter, and then it prints out the copy inside the case.
True.
God, that's
Crazy.
such a good movie. This is good. This is good too. I liked Minority Report.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I really enjoyed it.
So Max, you said you hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
You you remember watching it for the first time during the Obama second term. What makes this movie to you stand out as, hey, let's, we got to do it on the pod. We got to have a
It's a really
conversation
good
about it.
it's a really good science fiction film, right? Like it's got all the hallmarks of great science fiction. Like the themes are going to be relevant always. It's got great characters. Um, and it's Spielberg directing Tom Cruise in like a in a great movie. So,
In the PKD story,
yeah, and it's great.
people always ask me why my Venmo was John Anderton PKD. This is why. I
Really?
love this. Yeah.
I've known you, fuck, 8 years, and I've never known why.
You didn't figure it out watching the movie?
I haven't Venmoed you or had you Venmo me in a while, Ben. I had forgotten,
Oh, well, I
but
guess
now I'm
that's true.
remembering.
That's true.
But I'm
Everyone
now
like that.
remembering, like, in years past when we have done Venmo transactions. Like, oh yeah,
Yes.
your name isn't Ben Green.
No. I just, I like names, aka John Benderton.
I'm very
Oh,
excited, and don't spoil it for next week, but I'm very excited for your name next week. I feel like we all had a hand in that one.
Yeah, that was definitely a group effort.
yeah. Speaking of next week, we are very excited for the long-awaited return of another Tom Cruise character, Ethan Hunt. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in theaters tomorrow for some people.
We're
Um,
recording this
but
on
in
Wednesday,
theaters
so it's tomorrow
everywhere.
for us.
Yeah, that's true. But in theaters everywhere soon. We're excited. Go watch Minority Report. Report back to us.
And eat a lot of popcorn for Tom
Eat a lot
Cruise.
of popcorn, but don't finish
Did
it
you
before the movie or he's gonna make fun of you for it.
did you guys see the
Absolutely.
clip of him at the New York premiere? How he actually eats popcorn?
Yeah, he eats it like a
Like
Chad.
violently throwing popcorn pieces
That's a
into
man
his
that's
mouth.
efficient. You see how, like, his running, he's so fast. It's like the same thing.
Putting that together with his quote that said, I go through like one or two big buckets of those popcorn makes so much sense after seeing him how he eats popcorn. He
People are
gets
doubting him. It's like, wait a minute, this guy tries to stay fit. It's like, man, this guy loves popcorn. I can tell. I know. You
he
see
gets
a
like
man with popcorn eating that voraciously, you know he loves popcorn.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, but as the president of movies, he gets to
for
enjoy his
real.
popcorn however he damn well pleases.
Hell yeah, he does.
I agree.
We'll ignore the Scientology stuff for a couple weeks here while we gush about Tom Cruise
I
movies.
just ignore it permanently for right now.
He saved
It's too
movies with Top
entertaining.
Gun Maverick. We're gonna let him keep doing his thing. He's gonna
He's
make
not
movies
running the
till he's a
church. I don't know,
hundred.
man.
He's gonna be 100 years old making movies.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
And you know what? Maybe we should thank Scientology if he's still 100 and jumping out of airplanes. Maybe it was all worth it for this one man.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for us. Go see Tom Cruise jump out of planes and stuff next week. And come join us on the pod. All right. Good night.
Good
Night.
night.